Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about the executive action decisions uh, based on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal. I have been getting a lot of calls and issues saying, that the clients think that immigration reform and the executive action is dead, that there's nothing more that can be done, and that now what can they do type thing. And I just want to procedurally give you a better idea of what exactly is happening so that, of course, you don't lose all hope and there are other options in the interim that are available. So as it stands now, let me just tell you procedurally the history. Of course, President Obama made an executive action consisting of a few different parts, primarily because Congress just would not pass immigration reform, and he wanted to do something, right, to get his plans across and so forth. So he issued these plans that were supposed to go into effect. One was DAPA, which were for parents of essentially people who were born here quite some time ago. One is the extended DACA, and that, of course, was to give kids who have been here many years, no fault of their own, but of course were not legal. It doesn't affect the prior DACA, which was also an executive action of President Obama. But procedurally, what happened is there were 26 states and some Republican governors, and they all sued, basically to get a temporary injunction from these programs going into effect. And so essentially what the opposition did is they searched for a judge in what they believed to be very anti-Obama territory. They in fact got such a judge in Texas, in the Fifth Circuit, and that judge essentially ruled and issued a stay of the program. Okay, now I want you to realize that when the initial Texas judge issued the stay, he did not deny the program themselves. He just issued a stay from them going into effect, meaning that until the final decision would be issued on this matter, that the judge, is ordering that it not go in effect. So the initial decision itself by that Texas judge did not rule on the merits of the program. Rather, it just stopped it from going into effect while all of the briefs and all of the schedules for argument are still going forward, which in fact they still are. Now, what happened after that judge rule issued the temporary stay is President Obama and his team appealed the decision to temporarily stay implementation of these programs, and that went up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And again, I want to make clear that the actual fighting for whether the executive actions are legal or not legal, whether they're constitutional or not constitutional, that's still being argued. There has been no decision on that as of yet. So when it went up to the Fifth Circuit, it didn't appeal the merits of this particular situation because there has been no decision on the merits. It only appealed the stay decision by the Texas judge. And the Fifth Circuit basically did not overturn the Texas judge's decision to stay implementation of the program. So that's where essentially it stands now, in that the Fifth Circuit, for their various reasons, has decided to keep the stay in effect. So the question is, where do we go now? What's President Obama's executive action? What's going to happen with it now? So it by all means is not dead. Okay, And that's why I wanted to make this particular explanatory video on what's going on. In that, it's halted. Okay, it's stayed. It's not going into effect right now, but they're still arguing the decisions now, or the merits of the program itself, and the constitutionally and availability of President Obama to have issued the executive actions that he did. Now, in this particular case, what is going on now is President Obama and his team have decided not to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court the denial of the stay from the Fifth Circuit, which frankly I think that's probably a pretty good decision, because it would be, number one, the Supreme Court taking this would be difficult by itself, but then if they take it, to actually get the stay granted or reversed would be even more difficult. So what they have decided to do is to fight the merits of the case. Now, let's say that they fight the merits of the case, and let's say they lose. Okay, then they'll appeal the merits of the case and that decision up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and then if they lose there, they'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court, which of course will have to deal with presidential powers, executive action, constitutionality, and all this other stuff. And that's where they have elected to keep their focus. So, for the interim, it's not going into effect. The fight still goes on. There's still all kinds of relief available out there for you, but don't lose hope on all of these executive actions, because the fight is essentially just beginning on the real merits of the case, not just the stay of it going into effect. If you like the video, click like, click subscribe, and you can certainly call my office, get a consultation. I give the initial consultation free. More on the coming videos. Thank you.